Lake boat leaders in Zambia, global mission in Ethiopia, and mission right here in Los Angeles, California. All this and much more coming up next. Hello and welcome to Mission 360. I'm Gary Krause. Today's program is coming to you from Los Angeles, the city of angels. And as you can see, that starts from down here and goes into an urban sprawl to a greater metropolitan area of some 18 million people. It's a large population and it's also a large economy. Behind Tokyo and New York City, it has the largest economic production of any city in the world. Well, on today's program, we're going to be looking at mission right here in Los Angeles. We're going to travel all around the world, but first up, let's go to Zambia.
Lake Bangweulu in Zambia is vast, about the size of the U.S. state of Connecticut, and home to thousands of people living on its many islands. For them, boats are the only way to connect with the rest of the country. And for Seventh-day Adventist Pastor Emmanuel, boats are the only way to reach the 18 Adventist congregations scattered across those islands. Emmanuel has embarked on these waters many times to encourage the 1,300 Adventists who worship here. But one journey stands out for him, a heartbreaking day when he attended the funeral of 14 church members who drowned in the lake.
My mind was like, hey, these today have died. Tomorrow people will die. Oh my God, oh my Lord, you created waters for life. You created waters to give you the glory. Today, the same waters have swallowed the lives of young people.
The tragedy occurred when 42 Adventists were traveling on a church-rented boat to do mission work on a nearby island. A sudden wave overturned the boat, and while 28 people were rescued, 14 others, including a 2-year-old child, lost their lives. This accident shocked Zambia and raised concerns about the safety and availability of boat transport on the lake. Regular boat services are rare, with the government ship only crossing once a week. Anyone traveling at other times has to rent a boat, often in unsafe conditions. But the people here have no choice but to travel across the water for their livelihood.
In this area, it's a very big challenge, especially crossing onto the other side. You cross the lake with the understanding that some other people previously died on the same lake, and then you have to cross.
At the funeral, a government leader asked the Adventist Church to help prevent such tragedies in the future. The church accepted the challenge, committing to provide a safer, more reliable boat service for the community.
A bigger boat where people will cross this lake, that boat will be a means of evangelism, will be a means of healing, will be a means of encouragement and fellowship. People will come and see the Lord Jesus Christ because of that mission boat.
The new mission boat will carry up to 60 passengers and offer a safe, affordable way to travel.
It's going to help them move from one place to another, from one island to the other island, from the mainland to the swamp areas of Bangweulu.
But it's not just about transport. This boat will have television screens showing Adventist programming such as singing and preaching. With your help, we can make this vision a reality. The boat will help spread the gospel and save lives, turning a tragedy into a blessing for the people of Lake Bangweulu. Your generous offering today will help fund this mission boat and support projects throughout the Southern African Indian Ocean Division. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you for planning a generous offering.
My guest today is John Clark, who is the senior pastor at the Thousand Oaks Church here in California. John, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
What I like about what's happening at Thousand Oaks, from what I've read, is how you are trying to be a church that is part of the community, that's connecting the community. Tell me about that and what's been happening.
Well, that's been it stemmed from when I was across the street, I had heard that the neighbors literally across the street didn't know that we were a church. They thought we were part of the botanical gardens. And so that really changed my thinking quite a bit, because we wanted to be a part of that community and be known as a spiritual center for that community. So we started to pray about it, started to ask the Lord if there's anything that we can do that would be reflective of something needed in the community. And that's how we really changed our focus.
That's wonderful. So tell me about the initiative that really got the ball rolling in terms of connecting with the community.
Well, ironically, we just so happened to meet the director of a food share distribution, who was actually meeting at the Botanical Gardens right next door to us. And I met with them, and we had a facility that was open on the day that they were needing to distribute. And we started to connect with the food share program, not knowing that it was going to be exponential in its growth. So we didn't know that. And since then, we have become the largest food distribution center in Ventura County.
Wow.
For food share.
Wow, that's a big task, right?
Well, there's a lot of volunteers.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's neat. I think it is, because it's very ecumenical. We've got people coming in to help volunteer, people from all kinds of different religious backgrounds, some without any religious backgrounds. They know that I'm a pastor, and I go regularly and just care for not only the leadership group, volunteer group, but also the whole line of folks that are picking up their groceries every week.
So this happens once a week?
Yes, it does. It happens every Tuesday between 1 and 2 p.m. And you just kind of drive into the parking lot, circle around, and all of our volunteers have boxes of vegetables and dry goods and meats, and even sometimes we get sweets and cakes and donuts, and occasionally we even have flowers that we give to folks, especially if you can see on their face that they are maybe having a rough day. They might get a bouquet of flowers to just cheer up their day.
So when I think of Thousand Oaks, I'm thinking of like an affluent area of California, but there's obviously a need there.
Well, yeah, and a lot of times we don't really realize what's happening in people's lives.
Right.
We make assumptions because of the affluency of the area, and sometimes people go into retirement on a fixed income, and the food share actually supplements their overall budget so that maybe they can help financially support some of the other areas that have financial obligations.
Right. So it sounds to me like this is Christ's method. You're mingling with people, you're showing sympathy, you're ministering needs, you're winning confidence. People know who you are now.
Yeah.
Do you also have the opportunity to bid people to follow Jesus in this process?
Actually, my whole job, the volunteers have given me the job of being the ambassador of grace, and I walk the line and I literally walk the line of cars, and I talk to people and I say, how's your day going? How's your family? Is everything okay? And it does give me opportunity to ask the question and saying, hey, is there anything that I can pray for you about? And many times I am requested prayers, and some people will say, my relatives are sick or financial issues, things like that. And it does connect us to praying over those needs. And I think that's the beginning of that invitation.
That's wonderful. I love the way you framed that, where you said that they invited you to, you're the senior pastor, but they invited you to do this.
Yes.
So it's a team that's working here.
Oh, a whole team.
Yeah.
We have folks from the Methodist Church. We have folks from the Mormon Church. The Mormon elders use the food share as a part of their regular routine for their mission. Granted, none of us are able to proselytize because it's a city program. Yeah. But there's nothing that's keeping us from praying for people and just being nice,
So how has this changed the dynamics of your church now that you're moving away from just being a church that seems to be just for Adventists, that some people didn't even know was a church, right, into a community service? How has that changed the feeling in the church, the way it operates?
Oh, it's funny you ask. Many of our church members actually volunteer with the food share program, and it gives them a new purpose. A lot of times within Adventism, we isolate ourselves, and this allows for our church members to connect with people of different faiths, and also being the forefront of feeding people, feeding the multitudes that are in need. And having that purpose is very exciting, and you can see the change in the dynamics of the church from just the status quo, right, to now having a purpose and excitement.
Wonderful. John, thanks so much for sharing
Thank
with
you
us
so
today.
Much. Appreciate it.
And viewers at home, this is just another example of Christ's method of ministry into practice, in making those connections that are so important if we are going to be serious about joining Jesus in his mission to share his love on earth. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Los Angeles, and I'm standing on Rodeo Drive, which is in the neighborhood of Beverly Hills, which is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the United States, home to celebrities, Hollywood stars, people with high income. In fact, this Rodeo Drive is just lined with designer label shops after designer shop after designer shop, which is a different world to many parts of the world that we often feature on this program.
What does it take to leave everything familiar behind and to step into the unknown for the sake of mission? Today, we're here with Professor Watland, and he left Haiti to go all the way to the Philippines to teach at IAS, an Adventist university there. His story is a powerful reminder that mission isn't just from the West to the rest, but rather from everywhere to everywhere. Welcome, Professor Watland.
Thank you, Yali, for having me.
Yeah. Can you share with us your story as a missionary and how it started and how you got to the Philippines?
Sure. My story as a missionary started all the way back from 2006 when I began to work for the Adventist Church. But at that time, I was working in my home country, Haiti. And I served there for a couple of years before I was granted a scholarship to go to the Philippines to do my doctorate from 2016 to 2022. This is the time I got familiar with the Philippines, and then I did my PhD there, and I met some people. And after my studies, I returned to Haiti to continue to work. And about a year ago, I received the call to return to the Philippines to serve there as a professor. So I started to serve as a missionary in my country, and later on, the Lord called me to go to the Philippines, to go there.
Were there any surprises as you went to the Philippines and became an official missionary?
Yes, sure. My first big surprise arrived 2 years after I began my doctorate studies in IAS, the Philippines, 2018, when I lost my wife there. You can imagine you are there as a student, and then you are full of hope of what you will do after you get your degree. And then what happened is that I became a widower in the Philippines. And at that time, with her passing, I kind of lost everything that I had back then. It was I would say, a restart from zero. I was reconsidering my ministry, reconsidering everything. And then this is the time God revealed himself to me as the Lord of everything, as the Lord of the new beginnings. And this is there also I regain the energy, the joy, and the motivation to continue my journey with God. And 4 years after, I completed my doctorate, returned to the field, and then, you know, the rest of the history. Now I'm back to the Philippines to continue to serve. And 2 months after I returned to the Philippines, another tragedy happened. I lost my mother-in-law, my second wife. It was another shock for us. It is as if every time we got to the Philippines, I have to lose somebody that is dear to me. But this time around, I knew that if the Lord could help me the first time, He will do it again. And here we are, continue to serve in a foreign land despite the loss of so many loved ones, as I'm all away from home.
Oh, I'm really sorry to hear about your loss.
Yeah.
And it's encouraging to hear how God brought you through that as well. Were there also happy experiences that you have encountered while doing God's work?
Sure. One of the happiest ones happened also when I was studying, because when I arrived to the Philippines in 2016, I brought along with me a kind of disability I was carrying for almost 23 years, because when I was 10, I had an accident and I lost sight in my right eye. And the surgery I needed was not able to be performed in my country because it was a very complicated one. And 23 years after, when I arrived to the Philippines, the Lord guided me in such a way that I encountered a few specialists that could address that problem. And imagine 23 years after, I did 3 surgeries in my right eye, and I could recover my vision from my right eye.
Wow.
So in the Philippines, I lost people I loved. In the Philippines, I regained things I have lost also. That's how God led me so far.
Wow. In a way, that's how our lives are, right? Full of ups and downs. And
exactly.
And the only constant thing is God leading us and guiding us.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, I'm sure you're blessing a lot of people in the Philippines. And I wonder if you have some advice for people who might be considering to become a missionary. What would you tell them to encourage them?
My advice would be to trust the Lord. You don't need to know what will happen in the next moment, in the next day, in the next few years. You only need to know whether God is the one that called you there to go to serve. As long as you are sure you have been called by the Lord to do mission, just go, because He can never fail you. He did not fail me. He will never fail anyone. That's my message to anyone wanting to become a missionary. Mm-hmm. I know whom I'm talking about.
There you go. Those are precious words. Now, as a missionary from Haiti to the Philippines, I'm sure there were a thing or two that you experienced that were quite different. Can you share with us maybe some of those differences you found?
Yes, several differences between the two countries, although those are two countries from the south, as countries are classified north or south. But those are different contexts. Like, for example, in Haiti, we have more or less a power and fear context, while in the Philippines, you have an honor and shame context. So moving from one context like this to the other one, it took me a few times to adjust, even the way you present the gospel to people. Because in the Philippines, they don't have the story that we have in my country, encounter with supernatural power, people, demon possessed. When you are doing ministry, you face that a lot. In the Philippines, those type of testimonies, they are not so familiar with them. So it's a good encounter when I explain to people the way I saw the Lord leading my ministry in this particular context. So yes, the difference of the two culture also, it was a time for me to grow as a person, to learn new things, and also to share with my students another perspective of life, and then they appreciate it.
Yes. Well, very nice to hear. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. It's always encouraging to meet missionaries and hear the stories of God, how God has been using you. Thank you so much, Dr. Watland.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to share with you and with your audience.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
God bless you.
Thank you.
And now we go back to Gary.
I'm standing in Hancock Park here in Los Angeles, and this entire park is built on some ancient asphalt tar pits. They're called the La Brea tar pits, and through the years they've found thousands of different fossils dating back thousands of years. Next up, we travel to the country of Ethiopia.
Christian Hagenvik was a Norwegian medical missionary in Ethiopia. He was born in 1911 in a small town in southern Norway. His family accepted Adventism when he was about 5 years old. After he finished 12th grade, Christian received financial support from the Adventist headquarters in Oslo to study medicine and become a missionary. When he finished his medical studies, he was sent to northern Norway by the Adventist Church. There he trained to become a surgeon. When he received a call in 1949 to replace a sick doctor in Ethiopia, he willingly left home with his wife and 2 daughters. Initially, Dr. Hagenvik didn't have many patients. Soon, he learned why. People were afraid that if they died in the Adventist facility, they wouldn't be allowed to enter heaven. One day, a young man came to the hospital with a blocked intestine. The family asked whether Dr. Hagenvik could promise that an operation would be successful. The doctor could only promise to do his best, so the family didn't allow the procedure. After 2 days, the patient was so sick that he felt like he was going to die. He asked Dr. Hagenvik to do something, even if it meant an operation. Dr. Hagenvik prayed for guidance and then operated on the man. By God's grace, the surgical intervention was successful and the man returned home. News of the successful procedure traveled quickly, and Dr. Hagenvik had many patients after that. Dr. Hagenvik was not only a physician, but he also worked as an electrician, plumber, carpenter, builder, and mechanic. Many times he would lie under a car he was repairing and his hands would be covered with black oil. The nurse would come from the hospital and tell him patients were ready for operations. He would scrub his hands and operate on a large goiter or a patient who was having a difficult delivery. Dr. Hagenvik loved the people of Ethiopia and wanted to do everything he could to help them. He helped repair their sewing machines, cars, and various mechanical devices. He enabled many poor students to get an education. He liked to help people learn to help themselves. One morning in 1975, after Dr. Hagenvik had served for 26 years, some 300 robbers looted and destroyed the hospital. They burned Hagenvik's house and threatened to kill him and his wife. They found refuge in the home of a nearby friend. The next day, a plane flew them to the safety of the capital city, Addis Ababa. One could imagine that Dr. Christian Hagenvik would like to go home after this fearful experience. Instead, he moved to Gimbi Hospital in western Ethiopia, where he worked until his retirement. He continued serving God until his death in 1994 at the age of 83.
I've seen oceans turn to deserts. I've seen mountains turn to canyons. Where was your love? Where was your love? I felt pain and felt abandoned. I felt broken, almost forgotten. Where was your love? Where was your love? But it's the deserts that you use to show me who you are, and the valleys alone with you. I see you, God. In the driest times I found, I cry out for your rain. So I'm crying out right now to see your face, to see your face. You can turn deserts into oceans. I've seen you bring life out of nowhere. There was your love. There was your love. So come on, God, won't you hear me? Come on, God, please draw near me. I need your love. I need your love. But it's the deserts that you use to show me who you are, and the valleys alone with you I see you, God. In the driest times I found, I cry out for your rain. So I'm crying out right now to see your face, to see your face. I'm on my knees, Lord, hear me, and I'll believe in faith that you've allowed this pain. But it's the deserts that you use to show me who you are, and the valleys alone with you I see you, God. In the driest times I found, I cry out for your rain. So I'm crying out right now to see your face, to see your face. You can turn deserts into oceans. I've seen you bring life out of nowhere.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on today's program, coming to you from Los Angeles in California. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, people still need Jesus. And I want to thank you so much for what you're doing to help support Global Mission in its mission refocus as we look at those areas and those people groups that still need to have us share the good news about Jesus. I want to thank you so much for your prayers. They do make a difference to our frontline workers, our church planters. And thank you so much for your donations to Global Mission. Well, for Adventist Mission, I'm Gary Krause, and I hope that you can join me next time right here on Mission 360.